Welcome back to OnSign TV Expert Tips. We focus on reports in another Expert Tips video where you see how to create them and set up the content you want to include in your report. What we don't cover there and instead cover in this video is to schedule reports. First things first, why do you need reports? Information is key and you want to know how you're doing with your digital signage, which content brought in a good return and which didn't, and if you have clients who advertise on your screens, they in particular need to know when and how often an ad runs. So to have play information always ready to show, the best way is to schedule a report. This way, you have these reports in your inbox and you can just file them appropriately. In this video, we'll also cover a few more details you'll want to know if you're looking to generate highly complex reports. First, go into your reports. In the first tab here, you'll see all the reports you already created. All your scheduled reports will be shown in the second tab here. So let's schedule a report. Click here to create a new report. To paint a clear picture, for this example, let's pretend we're running a flower shop at a mall. So we have some interior displays and some storefront windows where we're running third-party ads. And we want to schedule a monthly report for these displays. Firstly, the report needs a name. So let's name it a monthly report, storefront. Now let's get to specifying the rules for it. You can see that we can set a monthly, weekly, or even daily rule. For this example, we want to set the report to occur monthly, and I'll select every 5th of the month. You can tick one of these numbers to deliver the report on the last day of the month, second last day, and so on. If the specific day of the week is a better marker for you, maybe for comfort to not receive work emails on weekends, you can click this option to have a report generated on every first Monday of the month or any other day of the week. To generate reports only for a specific period of time, tick Repeat Until, and then enter the date when you want the report generation to stop. You can also limit this based on the number of occurrences. Of course, leave this blank to let reports run indefinitely based on the rules we already set. If you want to schedule your report for specific days that don't really have a pattern, just click on Add Date and specify each date manually. For any of these rules, you have the option to tick Exclude to have the report ignore these times. This can be useful for extending holidays or skipping certain months when there's no need for a report, summer break, for example. Now we move on to the report period. So how many days into the past do you want to include in this report? You can include up to 60 days in the past for any given report. That's your maximum. This is also the reason why regular scheduling is a good practice, so that no information you might need in the future gets lost. For our flower shop example, since we're generating a report monthly, we want to include just the past month. The period offset feature is useful in case the full information for the month may not have yet been processed by the server. Maybe if your players went offline recently, so they need some time to catch up. Here's how the period offset works. Let's say you are delivering a monthly report to your client on every 5th of the month. So for your April report, you want to deliver it on the 5th of May, but you don't want it to include the data for those 5 days of May. So in that case, you'll want to set the offset to 5 days. This way, the report will be delivered on the 5th of May and exclude the first 5 days of May, but also include the first 5 days of April. Up next is the section where you choose the content of the report. You're probably already familiar with this, but if not, check out the expert tips on reports to see a breakdown of each component here. We covered them all in great detail. In a nutshell, you click here to add the content elements like campaigns or playlists. You can then filter by tag, content type, playback reason, and you can specify how complex the report will be. Once you've specified your content, below you'll find more report options to tweak the appearance of your report. This is great when you want to deliver a clean, professional report to your clients. Firstly, specify the output format. Up next, you can opt for file compression. So this puts the report into a zip file to reduce storage use. If you leave this on when necessary, the compression will only apply to individual playback reports. This is because individual playback reports generate a large amount of data. That's the most detailed report type. So compression is very useful in that case. For other reports, like this monthly report that we're creating, it won't be too large, so by default those won't be compressed. Of course, you can override that if you wish to by setting this to always compress the file. While we're on the subject of individual playback reports, you usually select those when you want the greatest precision and accuracy, and the highest amount of data you can get. Well, for that, you want to set the output format to Excel CSV, and you can specify the CSV columns in your report. You can order them around as needed. The most recent updates to these column types are the latitude and longitude columns, which include data for campaigns as well as the media in the report. So if where your content was played is important for your report, set the type to individual playback, set format to Excel CSV, and specify the columns. Up next, insert a logo into the report. This definitely makes the report more visually impressive, and it's good for corporate reports and enhanced branding. Here, you can align the logo on your report in 3 very simple ways. And lastly, you can include a report description. So for this example, you can describe the type of report you've created so your client can understand it easier. Maybe contains the amount of exhibitions of each content during the entire report period. If the report is more complex, you can just note that it contains date and time for each individual exhibition and so on. Or, of course, you can leave this blank if you don't feel the need for a description. And that's it for this expert tip. I'll see you in the next one.